Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Apex Networks webinar on fleet maintenance. Just like the others, these are all going to be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel, so you can refer back to it later. So, I'm Jamie. I'm one of the support engineers here at Apex Networks, and I'm also joined by our customer success manager, Mark Madwick.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm sure that most of you know me by now, so I'll leave Jamie to skate on with the meeting.
Lovely, thank you, Mark. So what are we going to be covering today? So we're going to be covering how to set up maintenance categories as well as schedules for them. We're going to get some more key features in the fleet maintenance module, as well as how to track your MOTs with confidence. So why is this helpful? So correct setup of your maintenance with an RMS ensures safety critical tasks aren't missed and delivers a complete vehicle audit trail, and also helps you stay compliant as a result of that. Let me just bring up RMS here. Here we go. So the first bit we're going to go over is the maintenance categories, which you can find in the circle 3 lines in the top left. And then fleet. So where you want to go here is your setup bar menu, maintenance categories. So in here is where you're going to add all the different types of maintenance or tasks that you do on the vehicles. MOT is not typically a maintenance, however, it is a good idea to have it within here because it allows you to have an overview of seeing it on the planner. So it keeps you updated on the planner as well. So what you want to do within here to create a category, let's just say demo 1, but this can be anything, be it for a safety inspection or brake test or anything that you've seen here as shown. Simple as that. I'll add one in there, demo 1, demo 2. These are 2 categories we've now added. You now want to apply it to a schedule. Now to make a schedule, you want to go to setup and maintenance schedules. As you can see, these are different. So these are going to be unique to the different types of vehicles. So you normally would have these, like you'll have one schedule for your different vans, some maybe for your heavies, etc., etc. You can make as many as you like. So what we want to do here is a new schedule down in the bottom right. We'll create a name. So in this instance, I'm going to make a demo. Once you've clicked save, the new maintenance button will appear here. You just want to click new maintenance. Now, when selecting it, it's only going to allow you to select from the categories that we made in the menu I've shown you previously. So here I'm going to add a demo 1. You want to add the description. So the description is what will actually appear as the title within the maintenance category on your vehicle, which I'll highlight to you later on. But I would, unless you have something specific you want to put in there, I would probably just name it the same that you did as your category. You've got now you can either have this a reminder for it based on the mileage that the vehicle's done. So say you want to do an inspection on it every 5,000 miles, you can do so here, or you can do it periodically based on how much time, which is normally better because there are some people that maybe don't update their mileage too often. So let's say this one's going to be a 6 weekly inspection on the demo, and I'll save it there. Let me go. Now I'll apply this to a vehicle. So any vehicle here, we'll use this number 57. Applying it, you can find it on the technical tab on the vehicle, which is this second one under vehicle details. And you'll find maintenance schedule down here in the second column. So as you can see, all of the ones are going to appear there. I've got the demo one. And save it. Now, you would normally go maintenance next, and we can create a maintenance on here. You can book one in, but you can't complete it unless you have a supplier, which I'll demonstrate now. Now, this works for either if you're going to do the maintenance yourself or if you're going to subcontract it out. Either way, it works the same. You still need to create yourself a supplier. So if you want to add a new supplier down here, if it's just yourself that's going to do it, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, you would just put your own details in here. Or equally, if you are subcontracting it out, you would put the subcontractor or the garage or wherever it's going to details in here. Obviously, fill out as much of it as you can, and you just want to make sure that supplier type is set to supplier, which it is by default, so that should be fine. Save that there. If we go back to fleet, we'll use this top one as the demonstration, number 57. To add a maintenance to the vehicle, all you want to do is go to the maintenance tab here at the top, create a new maintenance, and here, as you can see, the demo one is shown from the one that we created earlier. If you're backdating it, you can do. So say you've only just recently acquired this vehicle, you can backdate it. If you know that a 6-weekly inspection was done the week before, then that's fine, you can do so. We're just going to put that in, say, for today, the 29th. Again, also you can do it based on mileage, but in this instance we're going to do it on the date. In the supplier, I'm just going to put the demo one, which in this case would be yourselves. Or I'll just put anyone, test, that's fine. Save. So now we've got this due, but we do need to book it in to complete it. So we're going to click book in. This will create a purchase order. Now the purchase order system is rather large, so I'm not going to cover it in this specific webinar, but it is one we are looking to cover in a future webinar, so keep your eyes open for that. But it will create a purchase order for you here. Just save that. Close. Now, once it's complete, you have to put the mileage reading in on the vehicle. Just say it's 5,000 kilometers here, and it costs £50 for this specific maintenance. Save it and click complete. As you can see, this is now shown as complete. This will now appear on the next, so at the top, a good way of keeping track of your maintenances is through these bars. So there's a maintenance due, and it will appear later on. So if I believe I put it to 3 weeks, it should appear in this vehicle, in this column when it's due. Additionally, what I mentioned before about the fleet planner, this is the best way to keep track of all your vehicles and when any maintenance or MOTs are due. Obviously, MOTs don't naturally appear in this report unless you've put it in as a maintenance, which is always a good idea to do. So as you can see, all these vehicles, it tells you exactly which date on the month in the year they have specific maintenances due. So a good example of this, I had a customer who phoned up with help. They was the only individual at the garage who actually did the maintenances on their own fleet, and he was looking to take leave in the summer. But obviously he needed to work around who was going to complete the maintenances during that time, or what ones he maybe needed to push left in order to stay compliant and keep the maintenance up to date. So this is a great way to track what is due no matter what time of the year it is. Talking about the MOTs, so MOT obviously has its own list. It works relatively similar to the maintenance, but not quite exactly the same. So on the MOT, you want to create a new one. Again, the same with the maintenance previously. If you've just acquired a new vehicle and you know that it had its MOT a month ago, it's always a great idea to backdate it, because the reminders will not start until there's already a date put in there for it to go off. So say we got this vehicle last week, but we had an MOT done on the 1st of December last year. You would just put the first one in from that date. Same with the maintenance, you need a supplier in there. So if you're subcontracting or you're taking it to a different garage for it to carry out its MOT, you would need to create a supplier and put them in there. Again, I'm going to just create a test demo, and it costs, let's say, £50 for this MOT. Save it. Then once that, now the status of the MOT is due, we'd now need to complete it. So let's again just say that it was completed on the 1st of December. Has it failed? In this instance, no. So then otherwise you'd have to enter some more details. With the final outcome, it passed. Save. We'll book that in. Again, creates another purchase order for you. We will cover all this in a future webinar. And now we can complete it. Now that's all saved in. To get reminders on this, that can all be managed up on this top auto email found on your fleet. So if you want specific users within your company to get these email reminders, all you need to do, select the user you want, tick which reports you would like them to receive, and click add. What this will do is it will send the email to the email address assigned to that user. It works exactly the same for these email notifications, for failed daily checks or inventory checks, etc., etc. To adjust the timings on this, you want to click this orange button here. Click here to adjust reminder settings. And here you can set exactly how many days in advance. So for our maintenance, we will get an email notification 14 days prior to the date it's due. Same with MOTs here, you can have it 30 days prior to when the MOT is due. You can adjust this to whatever you want. If you want it to be 60 days, then you can. Okay. I believe that covers the topics we're going to be going over. So in conclusion, we've covered the maintenance categories as well as schedules, to get more key features within the fleet maintenance module, and how to track MOTs with confidence. We'd love to hear your feedback, be it in this chat here, or if you'd like to leave us a Google review to let us know how we did. It's very much appreciated. It helps us out a huge amount. We're going to cover any questions. I'm going to hand over to Mark. I believe people have been asking throughout. Thank you for sending them in.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie, for that. We've got a couple of questions that have come up. One viewer has asked, is it possible to put parts or labour to an internal fleet vehicle without generating an invoice, to put a cost against the vehicle instead of generating an invoice? I sort of get where they're coming from. If you go into the fleet profile for that vehicle, along the top row of tabs, you've got one, costs and purchases. If you look along the buttons at the bottom part of that, you've got new sundry cost. So without running through the purchase order department, you can put a new sundry cost in there, and that's quite useful for bits and bobs that you might be keeping in stock, you know, sort of wiper arms and wiper blades and things like that. You may have already bought them on a purchase order system, but now you get to allocate them to your truck too. Another question is, is there any way to send a defect to work order from fleet directly to the workshop tablet regarding internal fleet inspections for vehicles that are in the workshop? So is there a way to transfer vehicles from the maintenance tab in the fleet vehicle section? Unfortunately not. One of the trade-offs that we have with a one-size-fits-all system is that you may not be doing it yourself. You need to create a workshop job to do an inspection. Might be third party that are doing it. You might have it on a repair and maintenance contract with a dealership or something like that. So it's not necessarily an automated process, and that is why. But the system's being rebuilt, and all of this will be coming in the new system in a couple of years' time, where you will have a button to click, and the functions of the RMS system will work a great deal better in sync with each other. There is also a question about from a customer. We're adding our own fleet to Apex and setting up the schedules, etc. We're also interested in seeing how workshop jobs for fleet link in with maintenance schedules, including costs. So if I get Jamie to go back to the main menu, the recovery screen. There we go. In reports under financial, there is one in there called profit and loss. About halfway down, there we go. What this will do is will give you all your costs of vehicles. So each time a vehicle is allocated to a recovery job, it will pull in a bit of revenue from the job. It will have an update of mileage on there, providing that you're using the app to add fuel to each vehicle as the driver adds fuel. It will show any fuel in there, any maintenance, which is anything that you've done in the workshop, and any purchases that have been made against that vehicle. You'll also be able to add in a depreciation cost there, and that will give you the vehicle's contribution at the end, and you just pray that you haven't got one with a minus figure. But there will always be something with a minus figure. If you've got certain things like off-road vehicles, unimogs, things like that, they're things that aren't used on a regular basis, but when you need them, they're there. So it may well be that. So just having a look for another couple of questions here. I've had a question in the workshop screen on our fleet account. We can choose internal fleet. We cannot do this on any other account. Is it possible to set the internal fleet option to another account? The internal fleet option on a workshop job, so if Jamie just flips over to the workshop bit there, go into any workshop job or create a new workshop job. There, at the top, you have job type. Standard, which is one you do for anyone else, and internal fleet. That shouldn't be governed by the sales account. And what that should do is pull all your details from your fleet management system down onto that one. We've had a question, can you show the PMI inspection on the tablet? During this session, no, we cannot. But if you want to email into support@apex-networks.com, one of the team will take you through and show you exactly what it looks like or on the tablet and how it behaves on there. Right, that's the end of the questions as I can see them.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Mark. So that concludes our webinar. The next webinar is not yet decided. So if you would like to just email in or message in what you lot would like to see, ultimately it's for you lot, and we'll make it happen. So that concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending this morning. I hope you'll have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.